why your birth or baby business will never be a success. Hello, my name's Anna LaGrange and I'm one half of Baba Business, the Birth and Baby Business Academy.
Hi, my name's Liz Stanford and I am the other half of Baba Business, the community membership for birth and baby business owners. Oh, that title got me right
Ouch.
in the yeah, ouch. But yeah, maybe it's tough love season. Maybe it's tough love season, So
Yeah.
why are we doing this? I think it's important that first of all we do give you some love to say that we're going to say these things because we want you to succeed as training providers as well as like the owners of Baba Business. When we train people, we want them so much to go out into the world and spread the message that we've given them. So that's why we're doing this, because we want you to be successful. So where shall we start, Anna?
There's so many things we see, and and to a certain extent, we've done all of these at times ourselves as well. So,
Yeah.
we have also experienced this, but what we see is a lot of people. We see so much potential in them, and we see that they'll be amazing. Set up amazing businesses in their community, and that they may just not be quite making it, or even struggling to get started. And I think one of the key things is that self-belief, like really believing and trusting in yourself that you can do this, that you can make a business work. Definitely something that I've struggled with a lot over the years. It's that sort of, is this for me? Am I cut out for this? Are people really going to want to work with me or, book my business? And it has such a knock-on effect, not just for like being more visible and putting yourself out there, but also in like how you price your services, how much you talk about your services, it just feeds into every aspect of your business, basically, if you don't believe in yourself and that you are really fearful that this isn't going to work.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think if you take it right back to basics, if you have received your certification from your training provider, presumably you did some due diligence before you chose the company that you were going to do your training with. So trust that they have given you your certificate in good faith, in based on what they've seen of you as you've been progressing through their training. Because both of us as training providers, we see the people that go through our training. There are assessments, there are, various different ways of assessing, and won't go into it because we'll both do different things. But if you have passed those assessments and you're given a certificate, trust that you are worthy to go out there and to share that message. We wouldn't sign somebody off that we didn't think were capable, and neither would any other training providers as well. So feel confident that you are competent to go out there and do this work, and that people need you as well. You are very, very needed. So really embody that and trust that. And if you do lack in self-belief, there's nobody else that can change that for you other than you. So, go back to the things that we often talk about, the rituals that we put in place as business owners, and, do things that will help you to feel more confident about yourself, like affirmations, like journaling, like listening to meditations. And the other thing that's going to really help is getting out there and doing what it is that you've trained to do. The more that you do it, the more confident you're going to feel, the less uncomfortable it will feel to actually market and promote yourself. Otherwise, it's just a vicious cycle. You're waiting to feel confident until you go out there and start promoting yourself and getting clients. That's never going to come until you actually get out there and start teaching and working with people. You'll just be stuck in this cycle, and you've got to break it, and only you can do that.
Yeah, 100%. And this is where the mindset work comes in. And if you recognize that
Mm-hmm.
you struggling to trust yourself or believe in yourself, it's time to like really lift the cover on that and get really down and dirty with your fears, and just like, what is it that you're afraid of? Like, what is it that you're,
Yeah.
that you feel is the worst thing that could happen? Because I'm telling you, there's stuff in there that making you feel like this. And it's time to get it
Yeah.
all out, take a look at it, see which bits are true, see which bits aren't. And that is it's an ongoing process. It's not something that you can just do once and it's done. It is an ongoing process. And so having that as part of your business life as a business owner, that you're going to work on that, whether it's through journaling, whether it's through, you know, being part of a community like ours where you can talk to people about it, you know, whether it's talking to a biz bestie, whatever it is, to be able to really, or going on retreats, having coaching. There's so many different ways to work on this, but it's an absolute essential part of business, because I don't think there's a business owner out there that hasn't doubted themselves at some point. The difference between those that succeed and those that don't is that the ones who succeed just went ahead and took the actions anyway, even if they felt, you know, sick to their stomach, or like something was terrible was going to happen, or this wasn't for them. They just kept going. And that's the difference. It's as simple as that.
Yep, really is 100%. The other thing that we see that people do, which we know is like never going to make you a success, is that they don't prioritize their business. Everything else in their life comes before their business, and their business might get this teeny little bit of attention when, you know, whenever they kind of have a little bit of extra time. You know, you can't do that. If you want a successful business, if you want to earn money from what you've trained in, you have to prioritize it. And we're not saying prioritize it above and over your kids or your family or your like, if you have an employed job. We're just saying like it has to be up there with the priorities. It has to get time and attention. Otherwise, you're honestly not going to get anywhere. So look at your week and look at how you are prioritizing things, and see, you know, if you are giving enough time and attention to this business. And if you're not, then look at where you can give it more priority, give it more time, because it's worth it. If you've invested money in your training and you've put time and effort into getting your certification or your qualification, then surely it is worthy of some of being prioritized, so that you can start to reach people, make an impact, and earn some money, and achieve what you set out to achieve when you did your training.
Yeah, I think the other thing to look out for is where are you making excuses. You know, I've had so many excuses over the years, like around the kids or around housework or around, you know, life's just too busy, holidays, all of these sorts of things. Then it's just looking out for that. Look out for where are you using other aspects of your life to procrastinate on your business. And actually, this often feeds into the fear thing. And, you know, often it can be very convenient to have a very busy family life, so busy that you can't find time for your business. And sometimes it's worth just really, you know, having a look at that and thinking, okay, is this something that I have no control over, or is this actually something I could change? And am I willing to prioritize my business enough to change that thing that I'm using as an excuse? So yeah, look out for that one as well. Something that we always love talking about is planning, and planning is so key to business, because what can happen is you can have all these ideas and then you'll start something and then it's done all right, or it did well, and then it's kind of gone down again. And then you, instead of kind of like trying new ways of marketing or trying to kind of expand on that particular thing, you then move on to the next bit. And often what happens is people love the creation, they love the idea of something, they love putting it together, and that when it comes to the sort of marketing and sales, if they don't reach their goals, they can get very despondent and feel very negative about it, and then they'll move on to the next thing. And that's not to say sometimes it is time to say goodbye to something and it isn't the right time for it, but actually you know, we can get that shiny object syndrome, and we can just keep going through the same cycle of doing the fun bits and the exciting part, and then when the kind of tougher reality hits, kind of just giving up on it. And that's not a way to run a business. You have got to sort of try and see things through and try not to get distracted by things that don't take you toward your goal.
Yeah, absolutely. It can be so confusing not to have a plan. So, you know, you don't know where you're going, what you want to achieve, what you're aiming for, how you're going to get there. So it does make everything seem harder, seem more overwhelming. You know, and that is not the way to create a successful business. We already know, like statistics, research show us that businesses that plan are more likely to be successful by, like, you know, a huge percentage than businesses that don't plan. So whether you're a tiny little fledgling business, you're just setting out, or whether you've done your training and you've been trained for years, but you've never really, reached the amount of people that you want to. Like, are you planning? Are you being effective in that? And really start to take this seriously if you want to be successful. The other thing that we see people do is that these people are probably not planning per se, but they're coming up with lots of different ideas, but they're just not taking the action. So they're going, so, oh, I want to do this and I want to do that, and they're kind of researching and finding out about how you do this and how you do that, and it's all very safe because it's like behind the camera, nobody knows that they're doing it. They feel very busy, probably, like, I'm running my business, I'm doing my business, I'm looking at doing this and looking at creating that, but then they're not actually taking any steps. They're not actually doing anything. So again, they're never going to reach the goals that they want. They're never going to have the success they want. They're never going to get the money back that they invested in their training because they are all over the place in terms of what they want to do, and they're not taking any action. So really kind of zone in on, what are you focusing on? Like, where are you giving your time and attention? And then what are you doing to actually achieve the things that you're giving the time and attention to? I think it's really important that we're honest with ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's right. And planning can sound so boring, but we make planning fun here at Baba. So we haven't got time to do a whole episode on planning and how to plan, but planning doesn't have to be boring. It's just like, really, it is a very essential part of running a successful business. So we'll perhaps link to another episode down in the notes. And a sort of marketing thing here. I think when we come into this world, we don't think about the marketing side of things. We think about running our classes, connecting with our community, which of course is the main reason we're doing this. But actually, to run a business, marketing is a big part of it, and sharing what we do. And none of us share what we do enough. And it takes a lot of sharing, especially in this day and age when the online space is very busy, and so is the birth and baby world getting busier and busier. So I think, to have a marketing plan and to really share what you're offering many, many times is so important.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think, sometimes we might speak to people, birth and baby business owners, who say, oh, I haven't got anyone signed up for my class or my course, or I haven't managed to get a client for a while. And then when we sit down and talk to them about it, well, what have you done? What steps have you taken? It always becomes obvious to us that they haven't shared enough, and then it becomes obvious to them as well. So I think, really be mindful that if you were to come to us and say, I've got no one signed up to my class or my course or whatever, and we were to say to you, what have you done? Like, actually sit down now and write down everything that you've done that is directed towards getting people to sign up to your class, and then ask yourself, is that enough? Because the likelihood is it isn't. Like, sharing it once in local Facebook groups, or sharing it once on your personal profile, or on your business Instagram or business Facebook, is not enough. Not even doing it twice is enough. You've got to find other ways to get in front of people, to stay fresh in their minds all the time. And don't be afraid of just keep sharing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think a kind of extension to this is our last point, which is about taking action. So we can think and plan, and we can get distracted by all the setting up and the creation, and we can even get distracted through coaching and getting support in our business, and we don't actually take the action. So it's really important, once you've done the planning and once you've made the plans, or whether you've been on this amazing kind of day about running a business, or you've even listening to this podcast, you're probably like, oh yeah, I want to do more of this. It's like, we can think it and we can want it, but it's not going to count unless we actually do it. So you have to go out there and take those actions. There's a book, isn't there, called Eat That Frog. And I've heard people agree and disagree with it, but the idea of Eat That Frog is that you do the things that you don't want to do to start off the day. So you take your tasks that are important tasks, but the ones that you keep putting off, and do that first, and then you carry on with the day. Other schools of thought are, as you start doing off the fun things in your day and get those ticked off, and then you go and do something that's more difficult. So it doesn't really matter which way you do it, but the point is you have to take those actions, even and especially the ones that you don't find fun and that are uncomfortable, and that but they are going to help you to reach your goal.
Absolutely, definitely. So I hope you enjoyed our tough love episode, and I hope it was helpful. And like Anna said, please do go out and take the action, and make the impact that we know that you really, really want to. So yeah, thanks for listening.
Yeah, and if you've enjoyed this episode, please do subscribe, or leave us a review. It really makes a big difference when you leave reviews for our podcast. It means that more people can find us. And do share this episode with anybody who you think would enjoy it. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Lovely.